Hello, Natty. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Our second podcast together.
Yes.
By popular demand, I must say, Natalie.
That's awesome.
Isn't that good?
That is
So
good.
we have had a lot of feedback that our podcast we did a couple of weeks ago was really hit a mark with people that work together.
Yeah.
Husband and wife teams, and some of the other stuff, just team-based stuff, but a lot of it was husband and wife feedback we got.
Yes.
Turns out that, this is a tension that most, if not all, husband and wife teams manage.
Definitely is, yeah. It's, there's one thing, I suppose, outside of work and just in marriage and in relationship and friendship even, but one thing to actually bring that partnership and relationship into a business setting. So,
and understanding each other is what we tried to drill down on a couple of weeks ago. So, for anybody who hasn't listened yet, we'll put in the show notes when exactly it was, but I think it was a month ago or something like that. And we just talked about, some of the communication issues that we have as husband and wife teams. It's we don't set out to do the wrong thing by each other, but we end up blocking each other, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, definitely unintentional.
Yeah.
When we drill down, the intention is good.
Yes.
I think it's just when you are stuck under that pressure, your natural, we're talking about even this morning about, your first reaction, second reaction in a sense, and that first reaction always comes up first, and then your logical mind sets in and you're able to sort of think and go, no, I know the intention was not what I reacted to. And so sometimes, under pressure, that first reaction, hits pretty quick.
It does,
pretty
but
hard.
Here's the thing, that quite often might happen to a husband and wife team as they're leaving the house.
Definitely.
Getting ready for work. And so before they've even started the day, they're over each other, the tension's set, and, potentially can set the day up for a real fail, if you will.
Definitely is.
Not that it is a fail, but it can feel like that, can't it?
Yeah.
It can feel like, work's hard enough, isn't it? Leading people, whatever it is that people do in their work, whatever business they might own or however it runs, that's hard enough without feeling like the person that should most understand you and have your back the most actually understands you the least and feels like they're against you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And yet it's never generally people's intention or desire.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Well, today we thought that we might dig a little bit deeper into what, we have stumbled across in our own business, the disc profiles. Now, the reason we want to do that is because it's been such a game changer for us in our personal relationship and our professional relationship and in regards to team. It's been a game changer, hasn't it? And we talked a little bit about this in the last one, but we thought we might drill down on this a little bit more because it's that important.
It is. It is. I suppose, just to put it out there, it's not a personality thing, but it's a behavioural thing. And so sometimes, as you mentioned last time, we take things so personally, but it's just behavioural style. It's just the way that we're wired, what drives us.
Yeah.
And so when we understand ourselves in that, I don't know, you give yourself you cut yourself some slack, I suppose. And then with your business partner or, husband or wife, you do the same. And with team as well. You start to understand the person, what drives them, why they're responding the way they're responding, making the decisions the way they're making decisions, communicating, all of that sort of stuff. And what invigorates them, what drains them. And it just helps you, I don't know, have grace in those times of communication.
Yeah. I'll set this up. We're going to talk quickly about position profiles, but I'd love you to think about, how did this help you personally, Nat, to understand yourself? And then we can start to talk about team from there. But so I love what you've just said because leadership's about understanding each other. I mean, if you want to get the best out of somebody, you have to understand where they're up to. I think the best analogy I can use for this is what we call a position profile in a team setting. And so here's the tension that every business owner faces. Let's, for a second, forget about husband and wife teams. Let's just think about a leader in their team. Okay, so what we essentially have is business owners are often good at their trade, and that's why they get into business. And so they might be bricklayers, carpenters like us, turning builders, or they could be solicitors, real estate agents, you name it. They're generally in business because they're good at what they did. It doesn't actually make them great at leadership. And it doesn't mean that they're, if we're going to use the analogy of a coach, for instance. So here's what we did. When we first got into business, we were just trying to get anybody anywhere just to be able to help us. What we didn't realise is that if we want to use a sporting analogy, say rugby league, for instance, you put fullbacks in fullback, you put front rowers in the front row, you put halfbacks in halfback and wings on the wing. You know, they have a special skill set that enables them to do that role very well, to do that position really well. And here's the thing, business owners don't take the time to understand the position profile of their business.
Yes.
Let alone the person that best fits the role. When we first started business, we were putting fullbacks in halfback and front rowers in fullback and just anywhere, because we didn't actually have a position profile. So what do we mean by position profile? So we would say that if you've got a team that you think of yourself more as a coach in the stands than a player on the field.
Yes.
And you got to understand your team. You got to understand what positions you have in your team and what style of person or type of person you need in that role. Now, it's a lot more than that, of course, but that's where we've got to start, isn't it?
It is.
Because what we'll often do with our businesses is we'll just have a job description and some KPIs potentially, maybe. But they won't understand what the entire position entails.
Yes.
So you can't ask this fundamental question. Whenever you bring a team member on, have you been that clear about the responsibilities of the role that you could actually say to that team member who's coming on your team or an existing team member that you want to step up, could you say this to them? Do you accept the responsibility and the accountability for the performance of this role?
Never. We have never been able to do that up until recently.
Up until, up until we started to do this.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, so I feel like we did, the job description, partly KPIs, and then towards the end of our time in our building company, we were recruiting based on DISC, so their behavioural style, and do they fit the position well, but as a holistic view, hand, head, heart, skill set, mindset, character, their mindset, how they influence the situation, all that sort of stuff, DISC combined, job description, KPIs, everything together
mission,
to create
vision.
that position profile. No, we did not. And, and so early stages in our building company, as you said, we were just pulling left, right and centre people just to fill the position. And we had no idea who we needed and what we needed out of that role.
That's right.
And so you assume a lot. You assume that they can do it. They present a certain way in an interview or whatever. And but now we are super deliberate. We are practicing what we preach and hiring based on position profile.
That's right. And so just to drill down on this a little deeper, because say let's use Wayne Bennett, for instance. He knows exactly what he needs from his fullback. So he thinks people before position. He thinks position before people. Because he knows what he needs from his fullback. Now, here's a really clearest example of why this works. Penrith Panthers, I speak about this a lot. But I feel like it just really paints a picture, whether you like sport or not. The Penrith Panthers were going broke in 2012. They created what they called a Vision 2015 document. I've never seen the document, but I can imagine partly what's in it because of the outcomes they got. By 2020, they were in their first grand final of 5. They won 4. But here's the kicker. They were the most heavily pilfered side in the comp. At least 2 or 3 of their best players were lost to them every year because they won the grand final. And yet every single year they backed it up and kept on winning. Now, they created what was called the Centre of Excellence. They started developing the juniors. But here's the thing. They didn't just develop their skill set, like you said. They developed their skill set, their mindset and their character. They said, this is the way we, the Penrith Panthers, do things around here. And that's what a position profile needs to include. It's not just what you do. It's how you do it. It's skill set, mindset and character. It's your mission, your vision, your core values, the way we communicate, what accountability looks like. It's job descriptions, it's KPIs. And you're building a position before you've even thought of the person.
Yeah.
Because the person, unfortunately and fortunately, is interchangeable.
Yes, that's it.
But the position needs to stand. So one of the things that we stumbled upon, didn't we, with the disc profile, was just how important that is in being able to just be another clarifier on what kind of person we need for this particular position.
Exactly. Because, just to preface as well, yes, disc is only one aspect to a position profile.
Exactly.
Because you can see the basic behavioural style that mainly shows up under pressure. So there's two different profiles. There's profile 1 and 2.
Yes.
Profile 1 is adjusted style, so it's situational based in a sense. You adjust to suit a job role.
That's right.
Or whatever. And that considers your education, your training, so your trade, etc., etc. So it's not that you can't do a job.
Yeah.
But what we concentrate on in the recruitment side of things more so is your natural style, so profile 2. And what that means is it's like what behavioural styles come out when you are under stress and pressure.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that you revert back to under those times of stress and pressure. So disc is only one, and there's no right or wrong. No right or wrong disc. There's no right or wrong style. Everyone's got their strengths and everyone's got their blind spots.
Yeah, so good. Because what we would say is depending on the position, you need every style, don't you?
You do. On a team, you need every style.
You need every style. So there is definitely no right or wrong, but there is... for different positions, there is what would you call optimum profile?
Yes.
Personality profile. What do you call it? Behavioural profile. So let's talk about that. For those who don't know, we do disc here, and we'll leave some information and some links in our show notes to be able to help you with this should anybody need it. But let's talk about those profiles or those behavioural profiles.
Yeah, sure. So I suppose the biggest thing too is people not feeling like they're put in a box in a sense. And
okay, explain that, because that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when it comes down to like personality, some people hate doing these assessments. There's many out there. DISC is one that we actually really love and is very practical, I feel, for us, for the corporate world. But some people make them feel like they're put in a box, that they are this and, but that's not what it is. Behavioural styles is behavioural. Behavioural can change. You can change your behaviour.
Yeah.
And so what this is, it's actually quite freeing, because it's like what drives you, what motivates you, how you act under stress, how you make decisions, communicate with each other, etc., etc. But it doesn't mean that you're stuck there. You can train yourself in those situations, which is what we want out of ourselves and out of our teams. And
you've also said before too, though, that it's also indicating what drained you. So let's go to that question that I asked you before we move on too quickly.
Yep.
Because that's where you stumbled upon this for yourself, wasn't it? Because you probably worked in areas that drained you and you didn't know why. So you might have felt like you're failing when really you just weren't in the right position.
That's right, yeah. So just a basic overview of DISC. I've got some little prompts today.
Good.
Prompts, sorry.
Love prompts.
So you've got a quadrant and you have got 4 different styles. So dominance, influence, steadiness and compliance. And dominance and influence are both fast-paced.
Okay.
Steadiness and compliance are slow-paced. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the top of the quadrant is D's and C's, which is dominance and compliance, they're task-focused.
Yep.
And influence and steady are people-focused. So you're either going to be fast-paced task, fast-paced people, slow-paced task, slow-paced people. Generally, you have got multiple... generally people are 2 or 3 different styles combined, but you do have a prominent style. And so as I was going through this, D's are like direct, decisive, big picture, they're driven, they're independent, can be strong-willed. I's are sociable, energetic, inspiring, enthusiastic. S's are calm, patient, persistent. They're careful. They're team focused.
Yep.
So they're team players. And compliance are careful, logical, exact, detail oriented, and analytical. So the biggest thing for me was when I was doing my role, I am a CS, a SC, 50-50. But in my working world, I was more C. I was more task focused. And so if I had my name against something, I wanted it to be right. So the task side of things came out of me more. And so when I found myself in, my leadership journey, requesting of me things that probably I didn't naturally have in me, I had to learn those leadership styles because it actually would drain me.
So you having to hold people accountable, for instance?
Hold people accountable, stand up and present, you know, all of that sort of stuff. If I had to make a decision with not much time to make it,
it'd put you under stress.
It would put me under stress big time. I needed the facts. I needed the figures in front of me. I needed to know exactly what I'm signing off on. What am I making a decision about? What are the consequences?
Well, let's just stop there for one sec. I think that's really important. See, because you're a C. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. I'm more a D.
Yes.
And so for you, it puts you under stress to have to make quick decisions.
Yes.
Unless you've got like all the info to be able to go through and go, okay, this is where we're up to. Whereas, say, a D, like for me, it puts me under stress if I can't make a decision and I've got heaps of information that I have to wade through.
That's right.
So this is what we're trying to drill down on, is that you don't want to put me in a position where there's a lot of detail. Now, it's not that I can't do it, but it will frustrate me because I want to move on and get to the point. I want to get to the action. I want to move forward. Whereas that kind of pressure stresses you out.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you worse. It just means that you would need to find the right position. Because if you're in a position where you're always making a heap of decisions and you haven't got clarity on how and why you're making them, that would stress you out.
That's right. Yeah. So I do need the time to look through. So, so that poses a tension.
It does, just in that
alone. Yeah. So, and that was one of our tensions that we faced for many, many years without actually even realising it, because we took it as a personal clash rather than just the way our behavioural styles were in a sense. And so people drained me. And so even though I do have S, and that is people focused, so at home, a bit different to being at work.
Which is weird,
And so I love people. I do love people. But I need that time. C's are the most reserved out of the 4 styles. And so I need that time on my own to do my task, to get it done without people. And then I can give of myself to people.
So your style is do not interrupt me when I'm working, isn't it?
I do like
And
that.
so I would come in, hey, Nat, what do you think about this? Oh, I got this idea. And you just look at me and it's like, mate, I'm in the middle of something, bugger off. And then finding a nice way to say that. Isn't it? Because, bloody hell, every time I go in the office, you're always whatever, busy. You're always trying to block me. But really, I just had to understand your style.
That's
that
right.
You're in the middle of something.
So it was funny because how I, started to recognise this in myself was, I used to beat myself up about...
This is what we want to go to. Tell us.
Why am I like I am? Why can I not make a quick decision? Why do I need to check all the facts before I can actually sign off my name against it? Why can't I move as fast as what you're moving? Why does a certain style rub me the wrong way? Because there is naturally tensions amongst different styles as well. And it's just because we work differently, we communicate differently, and it's like iron sharpening iron, but in the opposite, in a sense, until you recognise that the different styles can become a strength and can complement each other.
As a team.
And
this is what we need to understand, don't we, Nato, is that there's individual, which need to be respected and honoured and be in the right position, but there's also team.
That's right.
Now, when we get this right, the team wins. When we don't get this right, the team loses. That's because you're opposing one another. You put the wrong person in the wrong position, and they will be drained. There will be conflict. There will be breakdown understanding
Yes.
communication.
Yeah.
There will be errors in task.
That's right.
Things will not be followed up. Things will not be followed through. And it's an absolute nightmare. And so what we do is we look at a person again and we say it's your fault, person.
Yes.
And we try to hold them accountable for a role potentially that they just were never ever meant a good fit for.
Exactly. That's right.
And when we think about the tensions that we even still have, of course, but we understand it a little bit more. We had conflict because we didn't understand this either.
That's it.
I'm pushing, making decisions, moving ahead, and you're like, no, stop, let's find out all the facts. It
Yes.
felt like you were stopping me all the time, and it felt like I was pushing you all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you've got the inner, like, what we talked about, how we start the day. And then me potentially interrupting you, or you, just the whole thing,
Yeah.
And then that's before we've even done any work
Yes.
and dealt with any leadership stuff.
That's it.
You got to get it right, eh?
That's crazy.
And this was a game changer when we got this right for us,
Yeah.
but also again for our
Yeah.
for our team.
Yeah. So of course we had we introduced this, when we already had teams. So
Yes.
it's never too late. You've got to just start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
And so the first thing we did a group. Our whole team did a DISC profile, a DISC assessment, which was really great. And so we started to learn DISC and understand our team members individually. And then we started to understand, these guys they're the right people on the bus. Do we have them in their right position?
Yes.
And are we getting the best out of them depending on their style in a
Yeah.
sense? And then post that we started recruiting based on DISC being one of those things that we looked into.
Yep.
And it's the first thing we do now in our recruitment process is DISC.
Yeah.
And that's not to say yay or nay are they, putting them in a box. It's literally understanding them as a person before venturing into anything further.
It's understanding the position before the person.
That's right.
It's not that the person's, there's a problem with the person. It's that we know our position so well that we know who would fit there.
Yes.
You're not putting a front rower in fullback. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing, Natty, too, is that say your working style. We'll talk about yours. So it could seem to people, because you are so detailed, it could potentially come across to other people, not even just me in the team, that
Nitpicky.
Nat's never happy. It's always got to be right. And that puts a lot of pressure on you, because the last thing that you want to do personally is hold people accountable.
Exactly.
You don't want to have a hard convo. You don't want to hold people accountable, but you have this innate, now we're talking about your style, not so much you, but your style has an innate need for it to be right.
Yes, yeah.
For it to follow process, and for it, before it moves on and I approve this, it has to be right.
That's right.
Now, teams need that.
They do need that.
But what tension does that potentially put on teams if we don't understand that?
Oh, definitely. Well, again, you assume the worst of a person. You assume that they are out just to get you, that they're being too over, nitpicky.
Yes.
But it's not that at all. It's this is what team is. When we look at the 4 different quadrants of DISC and of team, you need someone like you that's big picture, that's setting the vision, that's moving forward, driving the team forward. Then you need your team members to come alongside you, no matter what leader and style is leading the team. But other people complement that. And so say like an I or even a D, because they're not so detailed focused, they're great with people and getting out there, like I's are great with people, can articulate their words really well, present. A lot of salespeople are I's. Okay. But then they need their team to back them up and have their back in making sure that the quotes getting crossed across the desk, presented to their clients, are correct and true and factual, and so this is where team actually complement each other. We have the right people in the right positions
doing the right things,
and you will complement each other as a team, and you will move forward as a team. When we think about ourselves as just an I am in this, I'm doing my role, and do not rely on team, then I have got blind spots. I'm not, sitting in front and presenting a quote is not my favourite thing to do. It drains me.
Yeah.
Whereas getting the facts behind the scenes invigorates me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, let's do a bigger deep dive into the profiles themselves. Because I love the concept, but talk about the profiles.
Yeah. Okay. So D's again, dominance. Their approach to life is certainty and focus on action. They love a challenge.
They create them if they can't find one. It's like, come on.
And they love a challenge after a challenge after a challenge, you know. And then, yes, so goals, challenges, you don't need detail. So no details, just basic stuff. And then, but their fears is losing control. So if they fear that they're losing control or being micromanaged, you know, that's a tough one for Ds.
Yeah, because we can't assume that every D is in the leadership position.
Not at all.
The point leader, can we?
No,
that might not be the. So what? How does this unfold during a day? Let's think about it. If you're a team member, not a business owner or not a leader, and you're in a team and you're a D, what does your day look like? Potentially frustrated.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Not moving forward quick enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
People talking too much, being too detailed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what we're not doing, are we, Natty, is we're not giving people permission to be dysfunctional.
Not at all.
A good mate of mine, shout out to Big Scotty, he used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
You don't give yourself permission to be dysfunctional.
Exactly.
Because you maybe are wired as a D and you want to move forward, and your team is got checks and balances in place, and you think that you can jump up and down or bark or demand. That's
right.
That's just dysfunction.
Exactly.
And that's destructive to a team.
Well, that's part of what we talk about too, isn't it? Mindset, style, traits.
That's right. It's a mix.
As a person and part of your position profile as well. What do you need out of this position?
Yes.
Because you might need a D who's direct,
Yep.
you know, big picture to drive this team forward.
Yes.
But you don't need them barking orders. You don't need them doing their role at the sake of the rest of the team.
That's right. And guys, this is why we say that it's a position profile.
Yeah.
And DISC is only part of it, because within your position profile is your mission, vision and core values. So your mission is why you exist. Your vision is where you're going. And your core values is how you get there.
Yeah.
And if we think that we can be disrespectful just because that's our wiring to be a bit pushy, that's wrong, because that's contravening mission, vision and core values.
Yeah, that's right.
And mindset, styles and traits. But, you know, so what you might say, Natty, that like potentially a sales manager, D, you know, that kind of position where you're moving teams forward, but you're doing it respectfully.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because, again, there's no right or wrong style, and every style, we've actually seen it where our sales team, we've had a DI, you know, SC, we've had all the 4 styles in a sales role, and they've all been successful.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not that they can't do it, but again, it's like, you know, their style, it's just understanding them as a person and then their process in how they're actually outworking their role.
Yeah.
And but the sustainability and the longevity of a person in that role with different styles, there's some that's naturally going to be invigorated by it, and some that can actually do the role, successful in it, but they can't sustain that longevity because they're being drained by it. Yeah. It's not their natural. So, and then that's where a lot of things outside of work comes into play. How are we building ourselves? Are we investing in ourselves? Podcasts, you know, all of that sort of stuff. Mindset, style, and hand, head, heart, skill set, mindset, character.
Yes.
To help aid in our blind spots, where we actually need to reinvigorate ourselves to be able to outwork our role.
That's right.
But yes, D's, they
can potentially get frustrated, irritable. But what are they really good at? They're good at moving forward, holding people accountable, hopefully healthily, setting goals, moving towards it, not allowing any obstacles.
Yep.
You know, like all our business owners that listen to this, leaders or anybody in a team, we've all experienced times where we don't meet our goals, and our team members just go, "Oh, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is." A D's unlikely to do that. They're more likely to go, "No, we meet our goals above anything," without being pushy and demanding and you know, dysfunctional.
Yes.
A D will always try to achieve the goals and push through any obstacles, which is such a strength in a team.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, every one of these profiles has strengths and blind spots, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. So eyes are typically in a position. It's typically your salespeople, really, because they are people focused. They're energetic. They're out there. They present well, you know. So probably, but the blind spot sometimes is lack of detail. You know, not following through in what they're saying, or you know, in their paperwork and things like that, in their documentation. But amazing, you know, they love to chat, socialise. They're very relational.
Yep.
So amazing people. Yeah. I wish I was more eye
Yeah,
at times.
Okay, so they're friendly, they're bubbly, they're, you know, potentially the ones that are always wanting to engage in conversation.
Fast-paced, people-focused.
Yeah, people-focused.
Yeah.
But their blind spots are, you know, they're not terribly great at detail necessarily. They don't necessarily follow through. It might be the person in the team, you're going, hey, how you going with that? And they're like, oh, I haven't got that yet.
Yeah.
Or the paperwork's not finished. Or
that's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And so just making sure with all these different styles, no right or wrong, but it's just like, does that style suit the position that you're actually hiring for or wanting them to do? And so for an administrational role, you're probably looking for your S's and your C's.
Yes, okay.
You know, rather than your I's, because in administration, you're probably getting down to more facts and figures and consistency of task rather than, you know, out there dealing with people.
Yeah, great. So if you're an I, you're walking around thinking, why is no one talking? Like, why is this place dead?
Yeah,
you know? How come I can't just say good day to everybody? Yeah. Like, you know, why is this, you know, why is this such a, like, you know, they want the working environment to be
interactiveness,
to be bubbly. They want everyone to be talkative, but that actually just one of the blind spots. That's not always where you can't get work done. Can you? Like, I mean, so it would be okay to have high eyes potentially in the office and bring that life. And it's not just the office, of course, is it? You know, wherever it is and wherever they fit, whilst having some office rules around let's not interrupt, you know, let's make sure that we have, you know, deep work time where we're set apart and we're drilling down on stuff rather than just walking around the office chit-chatting all day.
Yeah, that's right. But naturally their approach to life is like fun, you know.
We need them, don't we?
We need them, definitely need them. They bring the life of the party to us. So
and of course you're not saying, Natty, that you're a D, an I, an S or a C.
No.
You can be a combination.
You can be a combination. So I am 50-50 SC and then I think you're 80% D, I 15%, and then S 5%. So you're over 3 quadrants.
Yeah, right.
3 stars. Yeah, but influence, their fear is rejection. Yeah, they don't want to be rejected, especially by people, because that's what motivates them is people.
Yeah. So what do you mean by rejection? So do you mean sort of like rejection? We understand what that means, but in a work setting.
It might be that the clients decide to go with another builder or another company or you know, that type of rejection. And so that's where complementary hand, head, heart, when you're building yourself skill set, mindset, character, you are training yourself mindset wise to be able to deal with those rejection times, I suppose, in your role.
Okay, so let's stop there for 1 second. That's why we need to be a coach in the stands, isn't it?
That's right.
Because we've got, you know, let's just use the analogy, you've got a finely tuned athlete that's really in the right position, doing the right thing. You've got an eye in a sales role and it's going well, they're great with people, and then they go for a season of knockbacks.
Yes.
They get 10 knockbacks in a row, 12 knockbacks in a row. Next thing you know, you watch them from afar and they're off the boil. And you're thinking, you know, what's going on here?
That's right. Yeah.
What would a good leader do at this stage with an eye?
Oh, you definitely have to jump in and help support them. You know, people, put your arm around them. It's all good, mate, you know.
Make them feel like, you know, this is just the way it is, mate. You know, people get rejected. Let's have a look at your system. Let's have a look at your process.
That's right.
Let's have a look at your actions and your outcomes. Is there anything we can tune here to get right? And then if everything's okay and it's just a season, well, come on, we'll get through this.
That's it. That's it.
Great.
So S's, they are more slower paced and people focused. but they are amazing at just consistency. And so they'll get a process and they'll just follow that consistently. So they're really great at that. Their focus is on stability. They love stability.
They're team people.
Calm.
Don't cause waves.
Yeah, that's right. They're calm. They listen more than they speak as well. And so it's with S's, you've got to really draw out of them. They've got thoughts and opinions and amazing ideas, but you need to draw it out of them because they will not freely bring it, you know. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And their fear is change. They like things to remain the same.
Yep.
They ask how is the process getting done?
Yes.
And so they're amazing team players, amazing. Yep. And S's make up majority across the board of the behavioural style.
So as a population, what you're saying is S is the greatest percentage?
Yes.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense because they're team players, they're unifiers, if you will, or at least they're not going to cause disunity, are they? By their nature, at least.
Yeah, that's right. No, they're naturally sort of patient, reliable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've found in our experience, so accountants, administration, S's and C's.
People of detail.
That's right.
Yep.
So you've got more detail in the C, but consistency in the S. So they're generally a mix of SC.
Okay. So what does a good leader look like when they're an S?
Once they know how, they're very firm on that how.
Yes.
And they will follow process.
Yeah.
And so it's probably that's their probably biggest challenge is asking the how. But once they get it,
it takes a while to get it.
Yes.
But once they get it, they're
firm and they're consistent and they're stable in that.
Yeah.
So you can you probably got a leader who is not so up and down in emotion. It's more just the stability of that. Yeah. But they may need a bit of help to get to that point, to work out how, because, you're just churning it around in your mind.
Yep.
How is this going to work?
And not necessarily making decisive decisions of change.
That's right. Yeah.
So S is stable.
Yep.
Though more likely to follow the rules but not necessarily put the hand up and make changes. Probably just go with the status quo at times, maybe when they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Don't like change. So, it's that potentially that person in your office that every time you make changes, that they don't like it because they, go quiet or they, potentially.
But they have ideas. And so they've probably got this inner idea and this inner want to, better systems. It's then having, to speak up in a sense.
So
the opportunity to speak up.
The opportunity to speak up. So how does a good leader work with an S?
Well, we had a beautiful S and she was amazing. And so, I think it's just coming along. So sometimes S's and D's can oppose each other and bring a bit of tension because the D's are so fast-paced. So I think we need to just scale that back a little bit, come alongside them, recognise what they're doing, give them opportunities to hear their ideas and then be able to help them implement that.
Ask them, what do you think? This is why we're going this direction.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes.
How do you think that we can facilitate this change? So ask their input
Yep.
rather than just saying, hey, look, this is what we're doing. I know we were doing something else yesterday, but we're changing our mind, we're off. Because that would stress them out.
That would stress them out. But look, you learn and adapt and, this particular person, she has just gone on to greater heights. Now leading teams. And so it's pretty amazing. It's great to see.
Well, this particular human being is a beautiful human being, but one thing that we understood, didn't we, is that, like you said, that once she understood something, you didn't never have to tell her again.
And she was very consistent in it.
Yeah. But we might have had to spend a bit more time to set up why and then be consistent. I remember we weren't consistent for a while. This particular person looked after a pretty important position in our business and we were meant to be having weekly meetings so that she could report on where things are up to.
Yes.
And I wasn't doing that. And I remember that stressed her out because we made a promise that we didn't keep.
Well, we invested in every area, other area, and that went to the wayside because it was sort of more management and herself, her department in a sense.
Yeah, so it was kind of one of those areas that we'll get to that. It wasn't her.
Yes.
It was well, if I'm honest, the particular department was one. Sometimes I just want to close my eyes and not think about it.
You should tell the department anyway.
Yeah, so it was an accounts department. And,
Accounts role.
At times when you're a builder and there's over budgets, you want to know, and there's times you just don't want to know.
So the best thing that she was able to do is stand up and say, look, guys, because her natural style is not to speak up, I need you for this. I need you weekly. And once we instituted that and it was like a weekly rhythm,
it was good.
It was good, and it made her thrive in her role. She was able to make the decisions she needed to, get the approval that she needed to be able to move forward in her role.
She felt heard.
And supported.
And doing a job.
Yeah. And lastly, C's. C's are compliant, so they are slow-paced, task-focused. And so these are the guys that just do need that time to be able to process their work without any interruptions. And and for a period of time, that was me not for a period of time, my whole...
Still you.
Still me. And so I feel like, very analytical, data-driven, facts and figures, can procrastinate, definitely. Feel like I'm putting the halt on your progress because you're so big picture and vision focused. But, definitely, like all of those areas, we need those people in those teams. So it had its place.
Yeah.
I just had to make sure that those areas of my development, being a procrastinator, taking the time to actually get the delivery out there, I had to work on that and make sure that I was actually working a part of the team and not holding the team back, being the roadblock in the team because it had to go through a detailed, process-driven quality check or something like that.
Okay, let's talk about that because there can be a couple of reasons for roadblocks. So you potentially have the person who just hasn't done it, just hasn't prioritised it, just hasn't got to it, and when they do, potentially it's not accurate, it's not right, it's not finished. There's a roadblock and a hindrance, puts everyone under pressure. And then you've got potentially like a high C who's very unlikely to make a mistake, but might put it off until they can pour their entire attention onto it. And that's potentially a roadblock as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah, definitely. So I...
Taking on too much.
Taking on too much because you know the big picture. I suppose you can sort of see the outworking of it as such. And so, so then it does get stuck with you. Or, that is a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I felt like I was quite proactive, scheduling time aside. But as you said, when you're working in a team, it doesn't always go to plan. And so learning to adjust the plan is a tough one for C's.
Well, here's where it works well as a team, though, is that, in an ideal world, your C is your checker. So you're not having to do all the work, you're the checker because you won't make a mistake.
Yeah.
The problem can be, can't it, when a C says to themselves, the only way that this is going to get done right is if I do it. And so they take on the work because they don't necessarily naturally. This is another thing with, certain profiles. See, an I, for instance, is innately trust people. Oh, you're awesome. It's great. Let's, we're best mates. Yeah. Whereas, say, as a C and even a D, I think, we're less likely, and I think C are more like this, less likely to trust people.
Yeah, that's
You've got to earn my trust. Yes. Once I trust you, but you've got to earn it. And so what can happen in a team environment, from what we've experienced, is that you take on more work because you know it'll get done right.
Yeah.
But this is the problem, you take on more work.
That's right.
And so you've got this pile stacking up that other people could do that you're not even getting to, and it looks like you're the roadblock or everything's, but it's really not that you want to stop progress, is that you want it to be done right.
That's right. And C's do make mistakes. I made plenty.
Oh yeah.
And we probably just...
We all do.
Yeah, we actually take it on harder. So we have high standards for other people, but we actually have higher standards for ourselves.
Yep.
And when we make a mistake, we actually let ourselves know about it.
Yep.
In a way. So but it's pretty crazy. But I think, even now, my role right now, so being strategy and all that, strategy execution in 1,000 Feet Deep, I know right now I am potentially the roadblock for progression in some areas, and that is due to being a leader, you know, it's you've got the big picture of where you want to go, big picture of where your team is going to be built, but you've got a season of time where you don't actually have every position filled that you need for the future, in a sense. And so there are times where you've got the right mindset, you know where you're heading, you know where you want to be, but you understand that you potentially are a roadblock right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just recognising that, being self-aware, and that's what this does. DISC helps you become self-aware of your natural style, your strength areas, where you fit in a team, but then your development areas, those blind spots that you actually don't see, that we can actually better ourselves to help complement the team, I suppose, you know, or fill the gaps. So bring on a team member to help my areas that I need to develop in.
That's it. And this is why the position profile works so well, doesn't it? Because if you've got a position that's, you know, high level responsibility where they're checking, which we're going to talk about in a second, how this was, you know, so important for us towards the end of our time at GJ's. You've got a position that's like high responsibility because they're checking an area. Like, you know, it might be checking the quote, estimating, you know, might be sending before the order goes out, checking it's right. Before the quote goes out, checking it's right. Somebody needs to check. And you probably want a C in there or an S rather than a D or an I. Because a D or an I is just going, looks right to me. And you know, it's like, it's not necessarily that they're sloppy or they don't want, but innately they're not necessarily, let's slow down and look at the detail.
Yeah, that's right.
But what you're saying is there's a knock-on effect to that, is that they will take time. They will slow things down. They will want it to be right, which is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
so towards the end of our business, we, of course, not towards the end, but halfway through, we started hiring on DISC. And so we've actually seen the benefit of this and getting the right people in the position. And so, as you mentioned, one of those was we hired an estimator, and he's an amazing fella. He was an older builder who was sort of like transitioning into retirement but not ready. And we did a DISC profile on him and just knew exactly, we understood right from the word go what he was able to take on. He was an S, prominently S, so slower, people focused, but systematic, and so he was just perfect. He ventured into an estimating position, which was detailed, and he was exactly everything that we needed. And the reason why it was so great is because we knew his style, and so we were able to put him in the rightful position and know what to expect from him. Not fast paced, so we knew that the time that he needed to get, you know, to do and complete his work. So it was really, really great. We've hired salespeople from DISC, knowing exactly, and they were perfect and successful in their role.
That's right.
And so I think it just helps you, again, adjust, because, you know, someone might have the education and the trade and the qualifications to be able to do a role, but behavioural, you know, to work out their behaviour, are they fast or slow paced? You know, as a leader, what to expect from them.
It's so important. So with this role that you're talking about, so just a bit of back story on this. So it was around COVID.
Yes. And,
you know, we'd lost our estimator. Now, the estimator that we had was over a couple of different areas of estimation. They were really good at, and we probably didn't realise just how good they were as far as getting the work out.
Yes.
There was potentially at times not so much the attention of detail, which of course is important, but the workload. And the mistakes that were ever made or things that weren't quite right, we had checks and balances and measures in place generally to fix that. But what we knew during COVID is that we needed somebody. We're going to be so busy and this needed to be right. And costing and pricing and all that was fluctuating so much that we couldn't afford to make a mistake. They had to be right.
Yes.
So we said, position before people.
Yes.
We need somebody who's really accurate, slow and steady. So we went to the profile and straight away we knew that we probably needed an SC and so or a CS, and then we found this guy who was absolutely amazing, and he was exactly, to your point, what we needed.
Yes.
Never, ever, ever did he make a mistake. But here was the thing, here's the trade-off. And this is why we think position before people, because he was slower and he couldn't get everything done that the last previous guy had got done, but we didn't need him to.
No.
Because we actually split the role off, and you actually picked up half of it, which just worked out so perfect because we had two really detailed people in what was the busiest season in our office where we actually needed to be the most accurate.
Yeah.
It was a game changer.
And our styles complemented each other. So we actually got on really well and really enjoyed working with him, and it was great as a team.
And he was a team guy, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was compliant and he got through the work. He was respectful. You know, he followed system and process when he understood it.
Yeah.
You know, there was some things, there's blind spots with us all, you know, but
the value he added,
it was
seriously,
unbelievable.
Absolutely.
But it was because we thought position before person.
Yes.
It's because we understood we needed a fullback.
That's right.
And we put a fullback with a skill set, mindset, and character.
Yes.
And the disc profile into that role.
That's it.
And when they came in, they knew what was expected of them in regards to job description, KPI, process and system, what communication looks like, what mission and vision core values are.
Yes.
And so we gave them a full profile to accept.
Yep.
And they accepted it.
Yeah.
And they did so well.
They did.
So well.
They really did. Yeah. So no, it's been great. We, you know, of course you build and you adjust over the time with your team. You know, not everyone is put in their not rightful position, but just a position that's going to actually help them thrive in what they do, you know. And so it's super important. It's, you know, we've always had such beautiful people, you know.
We have. Working
alongside and partnering with us in business, which has been amazing. But it's just, we've seen both sides, where a team can actually complement and get the best out of a team moving forward as one.
Yes.
And then we've had the tensions that come with it when people are probably not in their rightful positions, or, you know, and so for your team to actually walk through this as well and understand DISC, it actually helps your team cohesion, for them to understand themselves as well as their co-workers as well, because we can sometimes assume or jump and fill a gap, like we've talked about before, and go to the negative rather than seeing what they actually bring to the team that I can't bring.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
We need each other.
We need each other.
Because, you know, on the flip side, we had guys, so my style, and this is the thing you were saying before, is that certain styles tend to gravitate towards other styles. And for you, it's the same.
Yes.
And so, but I might gravitate to a certain style more than you gravitate. So for me, I remember relying fairly heavily on somebody who just gets it done. Let's just get this done. So who do you ask to help you? The person who just gets it done. But here was the trade-off, is that particular person wasn't always super accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
would follow through.
Or potentially would finish the entire thing the way it needed to. So they didn't necessarily, they got it done, but did they follow process, and was it complete? So again, there's strengths and weaknesses to every one of those, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, at least I get it done. I'm getting a result. Whereas I wouldn't go to you. Now I don't mean this as an insult, but I'm not going to you because you're going to want it to be done right, and you're not going to get it done for 3 weeks because it's got to fit in with everything else you got to go, and I'm like, all right.
That's right. It does my head in if I have to do a half job.
Yeah.
It really does.
And
I know at times it needs to happen to move forward, but...
this is the thing, eh? It's like so beautiful because that's what team needs.
Yeah.
They need the fullback.
Yes.
They need the halfback.
Absolutely.
They need the wingers. They need the front rowers.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it.
Yeah.
So as with 1,000 Feet Deep, we actually venture into DISC.
Yes.
We do DISC assessments. We do for recruitment. We do for team building, team cohesion. And so, massive, for your team to move forward in this, understanding themselves, understanding where they fit in the team, and, the big picture and who complements who. And I think if we can have that view and that outlook, goodness me, sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit.
It takes, it unleashes such potential in your organisation when you can get this right. But as a leader, the biggest thing that I walked away from my time and understanding of DISC and our latter part of the years in our previous business was making sure you as a leader business owner are doing the things that invigorate you.
Great.
First and foremost, so your core purpose, and then hire for the rest.
Yep.
You know, because if you're stuck in a position or a role that you've got to do, you're filling the gap, and sometimes that's needed. But if you're doing that for a long period of time, it's unsustainable because it's draining you, and then you lose passion for what your business is all about.
Yep.
And so, you know, for me, I would be a lot more behind the scenes, creating for you to deliver, you know, all of that sort of stuff. Find your thing that invigorates you. Find the role based on your behavioural style that actually brings you joy and invigorates you.
Great. And every leader, we're going to sort of wrap in a second, but it's really important, isn't it, to know that every one of those profiles can be a leader, can be a business owner.
Yes, absolutely.
But what will happen is you will be inclined to lead the way that you lead. So we should never think, I'm not a leader because I don't like to get up front and talk. That's not necessarily what a leader does. Good communication is so very important.
Yes.
Finding a way to be able to communicate in the way that strengthens you and your team is so important.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that you're, Martin Luther King, inspiring everybody every day.
No, that's right.
But you do need to find a way. But every single one of those profiles can be a leader. They just need to find their best way of leadership.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we haven't really jumped into it today, Dan, but about, how we communicate, how we make decisions in each of the styles and things like that.
Yep.
But we can definitely do that with teams.
Yes.
And dig down deeper into that, because what you were saying before about we generally lead the way we like to be led in a sense, that's how we communicate and that's how we make decisions. And so quick story is when we sold our business and we did a lap around Australia, this is where it sort of the decision making sort of came out more, and it was like we're laughing. That time, that 7 months that we're travelling, it was out of work environment, so there was less stress, less pressure. But it was funny. It was on that trip that we decided to relocate to Newcastle, and we'd been talking about our styles the whole trip and just sort of learning more about each other and the way we work and the way
This is after 28 years of marriage, mind you.
And it was on that trip that we decided to relocate down here to Newcastle. And I just knew that your decision making is super quick. So I was sort of in my mind, you're talking about getting the ball rolling, and if I just ring the real estate and if I just get them to do an appraisal and the ball was rolling super, super quick. And here I am going, I haven't even told my parents, sorry, Mum, Dad, hadn't even told my parents, and I've got these real estate agents in my house, and it was like all of this stuff happening super, super quick. And I just started to, I could feel my anxiety rising within, because when I make a decision, it's slow, but once I've made it, I'm done. That's it. Whereas you're a quick decision maker, and then you think about it later, in a sense. So I was trying to allow you to freely work within your style, but then I could start to feel my anxiety rise.
That's right. And that's where I had to respect yours.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
rather than feeling like you're blocking me and making it all about me, it's like, no, actually, Natty needs some time.
Yeah.
She needs some time with this.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, disc, position profile, team, individual, whatever, we need to respect each other.
We really do, because that was a bit of a funny one, but less pressure. But in a working environment, adds so much tension, because we don't give ourselves, we don't have grace for each other. We don't understand. We don't know when to put the brakes on and go, okay, hold on a sec. This is actually affecting that other person.
Yes.
We need to work back here and, recalibrate and then move forward together as a team. So
it's so important, Nato, because we've got to work well together as a team. We need to, and what's the first step in working well together is understanding each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the opposite's true too, isn't it? You might be somebody who just needs all your ducks in a row, and you're putting a lot of pressure on the team because things aren't moving through quick enough. And then that might be the other way, where it's like push, and you're driving the S's and the C's mad because they know that things aren't accurate, things aren't right, things aren't ready.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's like, let's work as a team.
Yeah, that's it.
Now,
Sorry.
Yeah, you go.
I was going to say just one more thing about recruitment too. Like we're just going through it now. We're recruiting somebody, and we've gone through the disc, and we understand his style, and it's been really great. The position profile, what you've mentioned before, is that it's based on multiple things. Disc is only one of those things. But when you get your position profile right, you can slide across a desk. We understand that this is your behavioural style, but this is what we expect from this position. Do you agree?
Do you agree?
You know, so
exactly.
it sets up pre-agreed accountability.
Yeah.
That's it. And understanding, we're going to work with your style. We know your style, but this is what we expect out of the role as well. So it's a win-win. It's got to be a win-win.
So good. Well, let's finish on this thought, and this is it. If you're a leader, if you're a business owner or a leader, or you're a manager of an area, department, we somehow need to see ourselves as a coach in the stand, not a player in the field. And it doesn't mean that we're not working, but it means this, is that you are setting up a team. No coach sets a team up to keep on doing most of the work, putting out every fire, solving every problem. And yet this is the leadership reality for most businesses. And I feel it's partly because they don't think position before people.
Yeah.
And potentially there's like, I can't remember the book, but it's Jim Collins. He said, the right people on the bus sitting in the right seats. Yeah. We would say it like this. It's like the right people on the team in the right position, doing the right thing. So right team, that's a big question.
Yes.
Right position, that's a position profile. Doing the right thing, that's system and process. That's job description, KPIs.
Yeah.
And so how on earth do you as a leader pull together a team that's going to work well if you haven't got a position profile, if you haven't actually taken the time to invest not just in workload, but how the work will get done and who will do the work?
That's it.
A position profile helps you build a position on your team and clarify what a fullback looks like, what a front rower looks like, what a winger looks like, what a halfback looks like. Yeah. And position profile includes, one of the things is a disc profile.
That's great.
And when you do that, it will be a game changer. So here at 1,000 Feet Deep, we do disc profiles for leaders and their teams as part of your position profile, and will also help put your position profile together because here's the thing, a lot of it will be specific to a role and a lot of it's generic. Generic is mission, vision, core values, how we communicate around here, what accountability looks like. And then to your point, Natty, which is so great. And then as a leader, you get to slide the position profile across the table to your new team member or existing team member and say, hey, here's the position. Do you take responsibility and accountability for the performance of this role?
Amazing.
And they can say, absolutely. Or maybe they'll go, oh, you know what? I don't really think that'll work. Whatever it might be, ultimately it's the leader's responsibility to make sure they've got the right person on the team doing the right position.
That's great.
Yeah. Very good. Well, Natty, it's been amazing again. We'll keep doing this because it is so important.
Yeah.
Husband and wives working together is one of those things that we're trying to get out today, which is it's such a strong way of building a team, but it's also very confusing because the very person who should understand you the most, at times it feels like they understand you the least.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is just one quick way of being able to get clear on some of the things that confuse us and frustrate us during the day. Thanks for your time, Nato.
Yeah, thank you.
All the best.